hello, hello! Welcome back to the Learning Lab, the place where we talk, we learn, we laugh, and sometimes we go completely off topic, but in the best way possible, I promise you that. I am James, your very enthusiastic, slightly too excited about everything co-host, and I am so happy you are here with us today.
And I am Jenny, a little more calm than James. Okay, a lot more calm than James, but just as happy to have you here. Whether you are watching us on YouTube or listening on your favorite podcast app, we are really, truly glad you decided to spend some time with us today.
And hey, if you are new here, first of all, welcome to the family. Second of all, please, please, please hit that subscribe button or follow button wherever you are listening or watching right now. It takes like 2 seconds, and it honestly means the world to us. It helps more people find the show, and we get to keep making episodes like this one. So go ahead, do it right now. We will wait.
We are actually waiting. No pressure, but also a little pressure.
Just a tiny bit. Okay, so today's episode, I am so excited about this one, Jenny. Today we are talking about favorite places, like the places that make you feel something, the places that when you think about them, you get this warm feeling in your chest. You know that feeling?
I do know that feeling, and I think it is something that almost every single person has. This one place, or maybe a few places, that just feel like yours, like they belong to you in some way, even if thousands of other people go there too.
Exactly. And what I love about this topic is that it is so personal. Like, my favorite place might sound completely boring to someone else, and that is totally okay. Actually, it's kind of beautiful, right? That the world has so many different places and every single person connects with different ones.
That is a surprisingly deep way to start the episode, James.
I have my moments. Okay, so Jenny, I want to hear from you first today. What is your favorite place? Like, if I said to you right now, Jenny, you can go anywhere in the world for one day, where are you going?
Okay, so, how do I even put this? I have thought about this question before, and every time I come back to the same answer. It's a little library, a small, quiet, kind of old library that I used to go to when I was a kid in the town where I grew up.
Oh, I love that already. Keep going.
It was not a big or fancy library at all. Actually, it was kind of small and a little bit old. The floors made this creaky sound when you walked on them. There were these big wooden shelves full of books, and it smells, and I know this sounds strange, it smelled like paper and dust and something that I can only describe as old and safe.
Old and safe. Jenny, that is the best description of a smell I have ever heard in my life.
I know, but it really did feel safe. Like the whole world outside had all its noise and its stress, and then you walked through those library doors, and everything just got quiet, and I felt like I could breathe properly again.
Okay, I feel that so deeply. I feel it in my soul. There's something about certain places that just slow everything down, isn't there?
Exactly. And you know what's interesting? I actually looked into this because, of course I did.
Of course you did.
And there's real research that shows that quiet, familiar environments can actually lower our stress hormones. Our body physically relaxes when we're in a place that feels safe to us. So that feeling of breathing more easily, that's not just your imagination, that's your body actually calming down.
So Jenny's library was basically a stress therapy center.
Basically, yes. A very cheap one with lots of books.
I love it. Okay, but tell me more. What did you do there? Like, did you just sit and read, or was there more to it?
Mostly I read, yes, but sometimes I would just sit by this one window that had a view of a little garden outside, and I would watch the birds or the rain or just the leaves moving in the wind, and I would feel like, okay, this sounds a little dramatic, but I felt like everything was going to be okay. Whatever was happening in my life, that place made me feel like it was all going to work out.
That doesn't sound dramatic at all. That sounds like a perfect place. I'm genuinely a little bit jealous right now.
You can visit it. It's still there.
Wait, really?
Really, it's still open, still creaky floors, still smells like old and safe.
That's incredible. That library is very dedicated to its brand. Okay, my turn. Can I go?
Please go. Yes.
Okay, so mine is going to sound very different from yours, Jenny. Like almost the opposite, actually. My favorite place is, and I want to say this with full confidence, a very specific beach. Not just any beach, this beach. It is about 2 hours from where I grew up, and we used to drive there every summer when I was a kid, and it is kind of the place where I feel most alive? Does that make sense?
It makes complete sense. Tell me about it.
So, It's not like one of those perfect, beautiful beaches you see in travel magazines. It's actually a little bit rocky. The water is cold, and I mean cold, like your toes go numb in 30 seconds cold. And there are always way too many people there on weekends. But something about it just... I don't know. Something about it is magic to me.
What do you think makes it magic?
I think, and I have thought about this a lot, I think it is the memories. Every time I go there, I can almost see my younger self running down to the water. I can almost hear my mom calling me to come back and eat lunch. I can smell the sunscreen and the salt water, and all of a sudden I am not just at a beach. I'm back in a time when everything was simpler and a little more fun, you know?
Oh, James, that is genuinely lovely.
Do not tell anyone I said something lovely. I have a reputation to protect.
Too late. It's going in the episode.
Okay, fine. But yeah, it's the memories more than the actual place. Like the place is almost just a container for all these feelings and memories that I carry around with me.
That's actually a really good way to put it. And there's a name for that. Psychologists call it place attachment. It's the emotional connection that people develop with specific places, usually because of the experiences and relationships they associate with those places.
Wait, so my nostalgia for a cold, rocky beach is a whole psychological thing?
Your nostalgia for a cold, rocky beach is a very well-studied psychological phenomenon, yes.
I feel so understood right now. Okay, so tell me more about this. Is it normal for people to feel like certain places are almost a part of who they are?
Very normal. Actually, research shows that the places we grew up in or spent a lot of time in as children often stay with us in a very deep way. They become part of our identity, part of how we see ourselves. So when you go back to that beach, you're not just visiting a location. You're kind of reconnecting with a part of yourself.
Okay, I need a minute because that just gave me actual feelings.
Take your time.
No, but seriously, that is so true. When I'm at that beach, I feel like I remember who I am in a really simple, clear way. Like all the complicated adult stuff falls away, and I'm just me, just James. Just a person who loves the ocean.
That's beautiful. And I think a lot of people listening right now are nodding along because I think that's something almost everyone understands.
So this makes me want to ask, do you think everyone's favorite place is connected to memories? Or can you have a favorite place that you just discovered as an adult and it still hits that same way?
Oh, that's a really good question. And I think the answer is yes. You can absolutely fall in love with a place that you found as an adult. I think what makes a place feel special is not always about the past. Sometimes it's about how a place makes you feel right now. Like maybe there's a cafe you discovered last year that just makes you feel happy every time you walk in. That can become your place too.
Yes. Okay, I have a secondary favorite place that's exactly that. There's this little coffee shop near where I live now, and I started going there about 3 years ago, and it has just become mine. Like the people who work there know my order. There's one specific table by the window that I always sit at, and I get so annoyed when someone else is sitting at my table.
Even though it's not actually your table.
It's spiritually my table, Jenny. That's what matters.
I completely understand. I have a spiritually mine park bench, so I get it.
Wait, you have a park bench?
I have a specific bench in a park near my apartment. It faces a little pond. I go there sometimes just to sit and think. And yes, when someone else is on it, I walk to a different bench, but I'm silently upset about it.
Jenny, I love this so much. Okay, so both of us are apparently very territorial about our favorite spots, and we just discovered this right now.
In real time.
This is what the podcast is for, people. Genuine self-discovery.
What makes a place feel special? But I think this leads to an interesting point. Like, if we try to break it down, what are the ingredients?
Ooh, okay, let me think. For me, I think it's comfort. Like, I feel comfortable. I don't have to perform or be anything other than what I am.
That's a big one. And I think safety goes with that, both physical safety and emotional safety. Feeling like you can relax completely.
Yes, and maybe also beauty? Like, even my cold, rocky beach has a kind of rough, wild beauty to it. And your library had that quiet, cozy beauty.
I think beauty plays a huge role. And interestingly, research on what humans find beautiful in nature shows some consistent things. Open spaces with some shelter, water nearby, greenery. These things go back to what our early ancestors needed to survive. We're kind of wired to find certain environments calming and beautiful.
So we're basically still cave people who just want to find a good spot.
Essentially, yes. A good spot with water and shade.
I feel like that should be the Learning Lab's tagline. Essentially, cave people looking for a good spot.
We'll workshop it.
Okay, but what about people who love cities? Like, I have friends who say their favorite place is Times Square in New York, or like a busy market in some amazing city. That's the opposite of a quiet nature spot.
Right, and that's totally valid too. I think for some people, energy is what makes them feel alive. The buzz of a crowd, the colors and sounds of a busy place, that can be just as restorative for some people as total silence is for others. We're all different.
Do you think that's a personality thing? Like, are busy place people and quiet place people just wired differently?
To some extent, yes. There's a connection between introversion and extroversion and the kinds of environments people find energizing. Introverts tend to recharge in quieter, calmer places. Extroverts often get energy from being around people and activity. But it's not that simple. Most people are somewhere in the middle, and your favorite place might not follow those rules at all.
Yeah, because I would say I'm a pretty outgoing person, like pretty social. But my favorite place is a beach where I mostly just sit and stare at the water by myself.
Exactly. You can be a social person who also needs solo time in a beautiful place. That's very human.
Very human. I like that. Someone put that on a t-shirt. You know, I would love to know what our listeners' favorite places are, because I feel like every person has such a unique answer to this.
Oh, absolutely. Like, I imagine some people are saying right now, mine is my grandmother's kitchen, or mine is this little town I visited once on a trip and never forgot, or even just, mine is my couch under a blanket with nobody bothering me.
That last one is very relatable.
Very, very relatable. There is no shame in that at all. Your favorite place does not have to be Instagram worthy. It just has to be yours.
And I think that is actually the most important thing we've said today. Your favorite place is yours. It does not have to make sense to anyone else. It does not have to be far away or expensive or famous. It just has to be the place where you feel most yourself.
I love that so much. Okay, I want to ask you one more thing before we wrap up. Do you think people should try to visit their favorite places more often? Like, are we maybe not doing enough of that?
I think yes. Honestly, yes. I think we get so busy with everyday life, work, responsibilities, all of it, and we forget to go to the places that restore us. And that matters for our mental health, our mood, our creativity. Going to your place, whatever that is not a luxury. It is something we actually need.
Yeah, and it does not have to be a big trip. For me, even just driving past that beach town, even just smelling the ocean for a few minutes does something for me. Even my coffee shop, spending 30 minutes there before a hard day just changes my whole energy.
Absolutely. It's about intentionally giving yourself those moments, and I think a lot of people feel guilty doing that. Like, I should be working, I should be doing something productive, but being in a place that makes you feel good is productive in a way. You come back better.
Come back better. I like that. That is the message of today's episode, everyone. Go to your place. Come back better.
Simple, clear, good advice. That's what we're here for. Okay, before we go, I want to ask you, the person listening or watching right now, what is your favorite place? Think about it. Really think about it. Is it somewhere from your childhood? Somewhere you discovered recently? Somewhere you've never even been but you dream about?
And if you want to share it with us, please do. You can leave a comment below the video or find us on social media and send us a message. We genuinely love hearing from you, and we actually read everything you send us, which James gets very emotionally invested in.
I absolutely do. Someone once wrote to us about their favorite little fishing spot by a river, and I thought about it for 3 days. 3 days!
It's true. He told me about it multiple times.
It was just so peaceful sounding. I wanted to be there.
Okay.
I'm fine. I'm fine.
All right, everyone. We're going to wrap up today's episode there. Thank you so much for spending this time with us. Honestly, we always say this, but we mean it every single time. We're really grateful that you choose to listen to the Learning Lab.
Truly. And if you enjoyed today's episode, please share it with someone. A friend, a family member, anyone you think might enjoy a warm, silly conversation about favorite places and the psychology of feeling at home somewhere. Sharing the show is one of the best things you can do for us.
And if you haven't subscribed or followed yet, please do it now. On YouTube, hit subscribe and ring that notification bell so you never miss a new episode. On podcasts, hit follow wherever you're listening, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you are. It's free, it takes 2 seconds, and it genuinely helps us keep making the show.
We are putting out new episodes regularly, and we've got some really great topics coming up that I think you're going to love. So stay with us, stay curious, and
Keep learning.
keep learning. That's our thing. All right, everyone, go find your favorite place, even for just a little while. You deserve it.
Take care of yourselves. We'll see you in the next one.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.